friends are twats. They're surrounded by twats if you have kids. Fair chance to be twats. Kids can be twats. I was a twat, but I still am a twat. But kids are hard work. It sounds stupid doing this job, but I did that documentary about shyness, social anxiety. What if I get a nervous little runty one like I was? A shy little runty kid who refuses to go to school because he feels sick and he's too anxious. And even now can't even go in a coffee shop or a restaurant on his own, has to sleep roughly at a hotel because he's too shy to check in. All things. What if I get a nervous little runty one like me? Will I have the skills to deal with that? Worse than that, what if I have a confident one with high self-esteem? Fuck yeah. I'm looking at some of you probably got them. You might find it endearing. You're wrong, they're pricks, all of them. I couldn't deal with a really super confident kid. I did a gig. This is the kind I need, the really confident type, right? I did a gig at the Edinburgh Festival. There was a girl in the front row, right, who was kept bloody heckling me. I usually put about 14 plus or 16 plus on my tickets because I swear too much, right? I know I swear too much, but it's a nervous thing, right? I don't swear this much off stage. I don't swear this much in real life and all that. It's a nervous thing. I don't sweat this much off stage either. Weird things happen when you get up here in the dark room, the lights and a couple of thousand people, whatever it is, and you're looking at 1,000 people. Do you know what I mean? You just get nervous, a nervous reaction. And I apologise. I don't mean to offend anyone. If I swear too much, I offend you. I don't mean to. I said, fucking nervous. Fucking nervous. Things like that. Right, but this girl was glaring at me, and anyway, I said, how old are you? That's what she said, 12. She said 12. I said, look, I'm really sorry about the show. I'm sorry about the language and swearing. You've probably seen me on the telly. It's very different when you go and see a comedian live, isn't it? She goes like this, don't flatter yourself, I've never heard of you. Fuck off then, nobody asked you to fucking come. I didn't turn it up quite quickly, Fuck off then, nobody asked you to come. She said, yes he did, I'm 12. My dad bought the tickets, what was I supposed to do? I was like, you could have got childcare. She said, I tried, you were cheaper. What if I get one like that? I wouldn't have the skills to deal with a kid like that. What are you doing? There's another thing, I'll tell you something that amuses me about trying for kids. It's that phrase. I don't know what it is about that phrase, trying for kids. It goes one of two ways if you tell people you're trying for kids. Either people assume you've had fertility issues, you've got difficulties, whatever. Or, and this was most of my mates back in the day, most of them assume you're having the time of your life trying. They assume you're like, ooh. So you carry on with them, like, ooh, you dirty bastards. Trying for kids, I bet you're shagging like rabbits. Me and my wife were shagging every night, we were shagging next morning, girls going up 3 times out of the shower. What they didn't realise is that trying for kids for me and my wife involves me ejaculating into a little pot. And there's an exciting 20 minutes while we wait for it to liquefy. And the doctor sucks it up into a syringe. Using a syringe, not a straw, it's old school. And then they knock my wife out, again using a sedative, not a fist or a needle. It was a nice place. And then my wife lies back, and thinks of England, or Wales possibly. Yeah, well, realistically, she probably lies back and thinks how she should have had kids with her previous partner while she had the chance. But these things go through your mind, this sounds awful, but they do, they get them, and then they come out with all the equipment, all the doctors, I'm going to learn all the words of the equipment. There's a trolley, that's one of them. Come out and they've got a speculum, there's a doctor with a speculum, they take the speculum and one of the doctors holds my wife's vagina open with a speculum, and then they take the aforementioned liquefied semen and they try and deposit it as close to the entrance to the cervix as possible without aiming directly at the cervix. I understand that's right. Who's feeling horny now, eh? Fucking away! God, I'm in the fucking mood for it now. God, bring me my pots. I can't even wait till I get home. Oh, bring me my pot. Come here, you sexy little plastic. Get your lid off. Get your lid off. I need to be inside you. I need to feel that cold, hard plastic on my flaccid cock. stick some Barry White on pops. That's like it's going to be like Ghost, but there's only two of us. Quick, you go on top. Oh, that's not working. Yes, we have left it so late. There are now lots of barriers in the way to us having kids. My wife's got this horrible condition of endometriosis that some of you might know something about. Basically, in her words, her womb is splattered all over her other internal organs. So when she's a period, she bleeds from everywhere. It's agony and horrible. And so that's a bit of a barrier. And I'm, 51 next year. So my sperm are not what they were, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you that. This is the male body clock that nobody will ever tell you about. No men ever talk about it. They will give you a cheer if you got a low sperm count. You better not be taking the piss. I can't see where that came from exactly. Down there somewhere. You better not be taking the piss. Was that you, mate? Next to fucking Niccolo. Have you really taken the piss? Yeah, really. Fair play to you for a minute. This is it. I tell you what, though, statistically, you and me, that definitely doesn't fit the statistics what we did. There's definitely more than us in this fucking room. I tell you what I know is because the last documentary I did is about shyness. I'm doing one at the moment, a new one. Right? God help me, it's so embarrassing. You can be fucking in it if you want, honestly. It's about male fertility and infertility, right? And let me tell you now, I'm not exactly overwhelmed with volunteers to be in it. So far, there's 6 people globally have come forward. That tells you something, doesn't it? So fucking fair play to you for shouting out tonight. But this is the thing, right? You know the latest reports I read? The latest reports I read for this documentary, the sperm counts across the entire Western world, which as far as I know includes Blackburn, I'll check when I get in. They've dropped by 60%. 60% in the last 40 years. It's freaking insane, but nobody's doing it. So I know it's not just us. And some of you won't know it yet. Some of you will be sitting there and have no idea because you're too young. You're the people I want to reach. You're the people I want this documentary to get to, right? Because nobody will tell you about the male body clock. And you can't see it happening, can you? There's no little red light on the road. Maybe you've got one. There's no little red light on the side of my balls comes on when I'm running up. Maybe you've got a little gauge on the side of you. Fuck around. We'll get a letter from the DVLA telling you your spunk's up at the end of the month. This documentary's going to have a poster that's going to say, no sperm count, you won't see it coming. You need something called in, right? And some of you will know it. More than us, of course some of you know. I don't blame you for not volunteering, I don't blame you for not, putting your hand up. Who the hell wants to be talking about it? I don't want to be the face of infertility. Do you want to do it? You can front this fucking documentary. I just think it's a massive issue for men, and no men are talking. Actually, say no men are talking about it. One man was quite happy to talk about it. John's more than happy to talk sperm counts. But it was when we were talking about smoking, right? I was talking about all the shit they put in cigarettes, the thousands of chemicals, the formaldehyde, the arsenic, the rat poison, the pigeon dick, all that stuff on the side. John told me something I didn't know, right? He often told me things I didn't know, but most of them were bollocks. This one's true, I think, as far as I can work out. He said, did you know they put sugar in cigarettes, John? I said, no, I didn't know they put sugar in them, John. Maybe it's to disguise the taste of the arsenic. John went, well, it's the sugar that worries me anyway. I was like, what, more than the arsenic? I was like, I didn't know about the arsenic. What you don't know can't hurt you, can it? I said, no. You're quite right, John, you can only be hurt by things you know about. Which makes you one of the safest fucking people on the world. And then I told him that fact I told you about sperm counts across the world dropping like a stone. And I told him that my sperm count wasn't what it was when I was younger. And I told him that could be down to my smoking, And John went, there's no way it's down to your smoking. I said, it could easily be down to my smoking. Smoking lowers your sperm counts. And John went, yeah, but you said it's happening all over the world. I said, it is. He said, it can't all be down to your smoking then. Good point, John, good point. I wasn't taking global all now and again. I know it's very hot in here. I'll just tell you this because we started IVF in December, right, me and my wife. And up until now, it's been artificial insemination, that process I just described to you, which is a remarkable process, right? The idea is they try and improve the chances of your sperm fertilizing your partner's egg, right? So you give a sample, which is terribly embarrassing, and then they take your sperm and they clean it up. You know, they comb its little hair, polish its shoes, and straighten its tie, and they send it off out into the world with the best possible life chances. It's sort of like private school for jizz, basically. Eton mess, I call it. Don't clap that joke. Please don't clap that joke. I'll let you a little secret. I think that's the first joke I've ever written in my life. So I'm sort of simultaneously quite proud of, but maybe deeply ashamed of. I'm talking really shame. We have to go to this clinic, right? We go to this clinic, and me and my wife. My wife's fine. My wife's fine. But the women, they're all chatting away. They're all like, they keep in touch. The men is a very different story. The men, right? We are all sat there, all the men with a fork and a pot or other. Right, and they're just staring at the ground, just hoping the hospital will get hit by a fucking meteor or anything. Because we're emotionally immature, we can't deal with it. It's too close to our sense of manhood, our sense of virility, you know, all this pathetic macho shit, isn't it? Right? And can you imagine what it's like for me? Because I'm a shy person. I'm really shy on stage, right? And I'm sitting there with a little pot to my lap, and there's people, some people clearly recognise me. Right? There's people nudging each other and whispering and pointing. And I told this to my wife. She's like, oh, get over yourself. Get over yourself. She said, maybe it's worse for them. I was like, wait, how can it be worse for them? She said, oh, maybe they're pointing at you. Oh my God, it's that bloke off the telly. It's that bloke off the telly. What if he talks about me on TV? What if he talks about me on Would I Lie to You? What if he talks about me on stage? You know, rest assured, Steve Fletcher from Maidenhead. Don't do that, Steve. Your secret is safe with me. It's the first rule of Wank Club. What comes in the clinic stays in the clinic. It's not the first rule of Wank Club. The first rule of Wank Club is whisper your name at reception, Steve, you fucking idiot. I don't know who it's worse for. I don't know whether it's worse for them or worse for me. I tell you what I do know. Because I don't know what it's like for them, obviously, but I know what it's like for me. And this is how embarrassing it is for me, is that I have been confused with Rob Brydon hundreds of times over the years. In that clinic, it's the only time I didn't correct them. I know that much. We'll have an interval now, just leave you with this one image. Because, you know, I said that John could kill a conversation stone dead. I also told you that you could put an image in your head that would last you a life.